Golden Rules by Napoleon Hill. You'll discover the life's most important moral code and how to put it into practice in this summary of the Golden Rule by Napoleon Hill. One of the first self-improvement gurus was Napoleon Hill, and even though his books were first released in the 1920s and 1930s, they are still among the best-selling titles in the category. He doesn't think you need to be born with inherent talent to thrive in life, which is one reason his advice keeps attracting people. Hill believed that anyone could acquire the abilities required to achieve his goals and succeed in his industry with a little focus and effort. Many of Hill's methods depend on your thought process. Considering oneself unworthy of luck and harboring pessimistic beliefs won't help you advance in life. But Hill teaches more than simply optimistic thinking. The summaries that follow will explain how, when you put your thoughts to work, you may create new routines and habits that will infuse your life with vitality and action. These summaries provide information on how to make getting out of bed when you want to simpler, how having a vivid imagination can help you become a better public speaker, and how a chocolate eclair can aid in name retention. Tip 1. Our beliefs shape our lives, which can result in transformational success. Have you ever seen someone who oozes unwavering confidence and appears to be successful in everything she attempts? You might think she comes off as arrogant or feel envious of her accomplishment because you lack her knowledge. The truth is that we can all design the life we want. The secret is simply in how we think. Autosuggestion is a potent technique that enables you to control how you evolve as a person by providing your mind with motivating ideas and images. The author was prone to conjuring up fictitious get-togethers with luminaries and motivational figures like Abraham Lincoln, Socrates, Napoleon, and Aristotle. Hill would concentrate on specific traits of his guests that he intended to adopt during these make-believe sessions. In Lincoln's instance, he sought to emulate his capacity for fairness, compassion, and boldness in pursuing novel avenues for action. Hill would continue this process for an hour every night, adding new motivational speakers to his meetings as he became aware of them. He discovered that you may change your life and achieve success by employing autosuggestion to concentrate on motivating thoughts. In Hill's instance, autosuggestion helped him get over his anxiety of speaking in front of groups and concentrate on emulating effective orators like the abolitionist priest Henry Ward Beecher. Hill won a standing ovation and a return invitation after just one incredibly effective speech, which was the result of a week's worth of autosuggestions. 1 year later, he was one of the most in-demand speakers in the US and was traveling the nation. He even won recognition from the Associated Advertising Clubs of the World for his speech from a meeting in Pittsburgh in 1920. And the power of idea was the one that made it all possible. Tip 2. Shakespeare shows us how to win people over, which is another essential skill for success. Complex issues demand original solutions. However, there are two challenges in creating these amazing ideas. The first is coming up with the concept, and the second is persuading others of its superiority. The latter issue is typically the most challenging to resolve. The playwright and poet William Shakespeare is your finest tutor if you want to get better at persuading people. He is not a businessman or guru. Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar demonstrates how taking someone's side can lead to a change of heart. Mark Antony makes an effort to persuade the mourners to view his buddy Caesar as a great man during Caesar's funeral. A difficult task considering that Brutus, the assassin of Caesar, speaks to the crowd first and persuades everyone of Caesar's wicked nature with an ardent speech. After Brutus has finished speaking, Mark Antony will take the mic. He begins by applauding Brutus and concurring that Caesar should be forgotten because he is aware that if he immediately forces his viewpoint on the audience and contradicts what Brutus said, he would fail to accomplish his goal. Mark Antony is able to swiftly win the support of the crowd because of this. He then begins to introduce new concepts to his audience, such as how much Caesar contributed to the welfare of the Roman populace. He even said as such in his will. Mark Antony's adulation for Brutus gradually transforms from sincere to sarcastic to scathing. Eventually, Mark Antony succeeds in turning around the crowd's attitude to the point that they accuse Brutus of killing Caesar and chase him out of Rome. An approach like that is simple to apply in the workplace. The author once observed a lawyer who was a Shakespeare scholar using this technique to excellent success. He didn't assault his opponent until he started speaking before the jury. Instead, he enumerated all the good points the opposing side had made and agreed with them. He succeeded in grabbing the jury's interest and confidence, at which time he started outlining all the shortcomings in the opposition's case. It goes without saying that he easily won the trial. Tip 3. Positive advice can boost productivity at work and even enhance people's health. Can you think of an instance in your life when you felt appropriately motivated after receiving harsh criticism or humiliation? Most likely not, since the best approach to get someone to do something is through positive reinforcement. In other words, you should make suggestions that are constructive rather than critical if you want to help your workers perform better at work. The author formerly worked under a manager who never gave his staff constructive criticism. Instead, he would go through the offices and thank each employee individually for their excellent work. He would constantly imply subtly that they could perform even better if they tried while doing so. On one instance, the manager had to deal with a worker whose productivity had plummeted recently. But in this instance as well, the proposal was fruitful. The management understood that scolding him for the decline in productivity would just make the worker feel demoralized. He then put his hand on the worker's shoulder and complimented him on how his work had speeded up, setting a great example for the other workers in the process. Surprisingly, the worker's efficiency had increased by 25% by the end of that exact same day. It will be very simple for you to reap the rewards of a good idea if you work in sales. Make it a part of your sales pitch, for instance, by saying that even though a product is new to the consumer, she will quickly realize how beneficial it is given all of its characteristics. In this manner, the client won't get the impression that you're trying to persuade her of anything. Instead, you'll be quietly implying that the product is of excellent quality and that it was her idea, not yours, to reach this decision. Last but not least, the power of positive suggestion might enhance your health. Hill knew a doctor who could persuade sick patients that things were getting better. Indeed, many people with conditions like pneumonia were convinced by his helpful advice and started to feel better. Tip 4. For better commercial agreements, employ the force of prayer and the law of vengeance. Your first instinct when considering prayers may be to ask God for the ability to act more morally or for someone else to get better. However, there are other, more useful applications for prayer, such as enhancing professional performance. You don't need to believe in a specific religion or that one deity is superior to another to pray. According to Hill, praying simply entails sending a thought into the cosmos. This thought can work as an electrical wave, affecting the success of your company or whatever else your prayer may be about. Hill once made an offer to a prospective new business partner during the course of commercial negotiations, but the offer was rejected. He prayed that he would change his mind and accept the offer as a result. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happened 2 minutes after he prayed. The law of retaliation, which asserts that people will behave toward you as you behave toward them, is another instrument that can help your business. It might seem straightforward, and it is, but it's also among the best strategies to achieve success. This idea states that as long as you initially do something for the other person, you can basically convince anyone to do whatever you want. Give someone something first if you want them to give it to you, for instance. Let's imagine that a boy tries to steal a snack from his friend as they are enjoying lunch on the playground. Most likely, that selfish youngster won't do anything else. Receive is a blow to the arm. But what if the boy begins by giving his pal one of his own snacks? Unprompted, the friend is likely to give the boy a snack. This adult transaction is equivalent to the one in the schoolyard. The first thing you can do is make a point of praising your more successful coworkers to some of your contacts if you want them to promote you to one of their business partners. Tip 5. Affirmations can help boost self-confidence, which is a crucial component of success. Many people have two basic objectives in life: obtaining monetary prosperity and finding happiness. The good news is that you only need one quality, self-confidence, to achieve both of these. How significant is confidence? To begin with, you'll never be happy without it because having confidence in oneself is necessary for believing that one deserves the things one wants in life. You can labor day and night, 7 days a week, but if you lack self-confidence, you won't ever succeed financially because it takes it to seize opportunities, take risks, and be creative. So how do you get more self-assured? Realizing that only you and no one else has control over your life and happiness is the key. You need to start accepting complete responsibility for your life and understanding that you are ultimately responsible for it. You can begin to see that you hold the key to your own success if you let go of the idea that other people are to blame for your success or failure. When this occurs, you'll discover that you have access to a limitless supply of vigor and energy, which will enable you to accomplish even your most difficult objectives. Use affirmations to aid in this change of understanding. Simply repeating and focusing on a good notion until it materializes is an affirmation. A few potent affirmations are: I know that if I sincerely believe this and behave accordingly, success will be mine. I know that I can accomplish anything I set out to do. I can think my way to success because I know that everything I imagine eventually manifests in the practical world, the author said. I'll imagine the person I want to be every day until the picture is so clear that it can actually happen. From now on, I'll begin by planning exactly what I want to do, and after that, I'll give it my full attention until it becomes a reality. You're guaranteed to witness improvements in your life and confidence if you use these affirmations every day. Tip 6. Autosuggestion can also help you form positive habits. If you abandon a project at the first sign of difficulty, you won't get very far. It will need perseverance if you want to transform an idea into a lucrative business. Another piece of good news is that you can create habits that will keep you persistent in reaching accomplishment if you feel like you lack the willpower to persevere through unpleasant tasks. Creating new, beneficial habits is a great method to accomplish your goals without having to use as much willpower. It will require a lot of determination to start getting up at 6 in the morning if your usual routine is to sleep until noon and slouch through the rest of the day. But if you do it enough times, your 6 a.m. wake-up call will get imprinted in your daily routine and become a habit. You won't even need to try to get up early from now on, it will just happen automatically and without your effort. By employing this strategy, you may fill your day with healthy routines like rising early, working out, reading to pick up new skills, and seizing every opportunity to network. Even though it may seem like a lot now, implementing these routines will leave you feeling energized and with an abundance of willpower that you can utilize to carry out worthwhile and fruitful tasks. Autosuggestion can be useful when trying to establish a new habit during its challenging early stages. After all, if your alarm clock is the only thing that motivates you to get out of bed at 6 a.m., there's a considerable possibility that you'll ignore it, roll over, and go back to sleep. The addition of autosuggestion can be useful in the following ways. Spend a few minutes every day picturing yourself waking up feeling energized, well-rested, and able to bounce out of bed. Imagine every aspect of this procedure as you visualize it. Perhaps you yawn first, then extend your arms, and then get out of bed. This process will move from your ideas to your body with the aid of autosuggestion, and rising up early will soon become a daily, uncomplicated habit. Tip 7. We should remove the negative influences from our prisons and surround ourselves with positive influences. It's no accident that the brightest pupils often go on to lead our society in research, politics, and the arts. They are molded by their surroundings, just like the rest of us, and when that environment is a world-class school, they are shaped into world-class professionals. Whether you realize it or not, your environment and surroundings are continuously influencing you. This is because the things you are exposed to on a daily basis have an impact on your ideas, and your thoughts have a significant impact on the events that take place in your life. It only makes sense, when you stop to think about it, to choose the setting that will best enable you to reach the objectives you have set for yourself. Living close to other successful business executives or at least frequenting their hangouts makes sense if you want to become a successful business executive. You should avoid being with people who have a negative or defeatist attitude and try to surround yourself with people who share your goals in life or your work. Imagine every aspect of your ideal supportive environment as soon as you have a clear understanding of what you want to accomplish. It's time to set out and find that image once you have it in your head. Sadly, there are parts of our society where the environment is harming individuals, and we should fight to change this. The prison system in particular has a terrible and corrupting effect on individuals who are imprisoned. The majority are housed in cramped quarters with other offenders, with little to no possibility for rehabilitation, education, or anything more than everyday violence. A convict has little possibility of redeeming himself in these circumstances. However, things don't have to be this way. Criminals could be placed in conditions that are hygienic, safe, and conducive to learning new skills that will enable them to successfully contribute to society. Just consider how much crime we could eradicate. Tip 8. There is a way for improving memory that also improves our ability to observe. Here is a scenario that is all too common. You're at a party when you see a familiar face walking toward you and greeting you warmly. She is aware of your name, but you are having trouble remembering hers or how you met her. Oh, the discomfort. The good news is that a weak memory may be made stronger, even though this regrettable shame can make networking difficult. Your memory bank can be recharged in 3 ways. Start by being attentive first. If you constantly daydream while meeting new individuals, you shouldn't be shocked if you later forget their name. Similar to this, you'll have problems finding your way back if you don't pay attention to where you park your car and which roads you take. Start paying more attention by taking the time to establish a thorough impression of someone when you first meet them by taking the time to look at them closely. The next stage is to mentally link related ideas. There's a strong probability that if someone mentions her name, you already know anything with that name or one that sounds quite similar. It might be someone else, a location, a treasured item, or anything else that is very important to you in your life. Imagine that you come across someone and link her to your sister since she has the same name. If someone named Claire is presented to you, Think of one of your favorite sweets, a chocolate eclair. The power of repetition is the third and last step. Never underestimate the power of saying someone's name several times right after an introduction. It's also a good idea to think of the name occasionally during the coming days. If you do, your memory will be stronger and you'll have fewer embarrassing meetings. A further memory improvement suggestion is to develop your senses. The reasoning behind this is because a good memory goes hand in hand with great observational skills. Here is a little exercise you may complete to improve your memory and observational skills. Start by going into a room in your home and paying close attention to everything you observe there. After then, leave the room and start noting down anything you can. Your memory and observational skills will improve by practicing this practice daily in various settings. It's time to start putting the success principles to work for you and your objectives now that you are aware of them. Final thoughts. These summaries' main takeaway is this. Once you set your mind to it, success is not beyond your grasp. You'll quickly realize that achieving your goals will be easier if you cultivate the correct mindset and boost your self-assurance. Making significant social connections, closing significant business deals, and forming practical habits that make life easier can all be accomplished using a variety of approaches and with little to no effort. You can establish significant social connections, close significant business deals, and create helpful habits that make life easier using a variety of strategies and little to no effort. Never undervalue your ability to use positive thinking to make lasting improvements in your life. Finally, click the link in the description box to buy a copy of the book on Amazon if you like this overview and want to learn more. Thanks for watching.